Here's more wrestling news for June 26, 2021. And your headlines for this afternoon include: the real reason why Edge attacked Roman Reigns is revealed. 6-woman tag team match, Kofi Kingston and MVP segment added to 6/28 WWE Raw. Karrion Kross in another WWE SmackDown Dark match, more on Scarlett and Shotzi Blackheart. WWE's big plans for SmackDown star Liv Morgan. Man gets drunk and legally changes his name to John Cena. Booker T loses lawsuit over Call of Duty video game. Tony Khan doesn't know how anyone could screw it up with Sting. WWE superstar reportedly undergoes surgery, and more. We're starting today with SmackDown, as this week's show closed with Roman Reigns giving his State of the Universal title address following his title defense inside Hell in a Cell last week. During the segment, Paul Heyman discussed how Reigns has taken out an entire division in under a year, namely the Mysterios, Daniel Bryan, Kevin Owens, Braun Strowman, The Fiend, and Edge. Heyman concluded by saying there was no one left to challenge their tribal chief, but then Edge's music played as the Rated R Superstar returned to SmackDown. His first appearance since WrestleMania 37, Edge brawled with Reigns both in and out of the ring, including a spear through the barrier to Jimmy Uso, and the Hall of Famer ended the show by saying that if Reigns wants him, he's right here. We'll have to see what the Tribal Chief has to say next week, but it's clear that despite losing at WrestleMania, Edge hasn't given up on becoming Universal Champion. Edge isn't the only one with the Universal title in his sights, as during SmackDown, Seth Rollins asked for a shot at the title, and his former Shield brother Roman Reigns. The timing of Edge's return is strange, as the last fan saw of him, he was losing to Reigns at WrestleMania, who pinned not one but two men to retain his title. Whilst Edge vs. Reigns, the singles match they were meant to have at WrestleMania, would be worthy of SummerSlam, the timing of this return has led to reports that it'll be Edge vs. Reigns at Money in the Bank, with Edge vs. Rollins the rumored plan for SummerSlam. Edge vs. Rollins will be a first-time collision between the old and new school, and whilst Edge will finally get his one-on-one shot at the Universal title at Money in the Bank, don't expect him to walk away as champion, with Universal Champion Roman Reigns vs. John Cena considered a lock for SummerSlam. Over to Raw now, as some huge segments have been planned for next week's show. WWE have announced that Raw Women's Champion Rhea Ripley will team with Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke to face Charlotte Flair and Women's Tag Team Champions Natalya and Tamina. Ahead of his WWE Championship match at Money in the Bank, Kofi Kingston will go face-to-face with MVP, and with a strap match between Elias and Jackson Ryker, and a Money in the Bank qualifier between Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, and AJ Styles, next Monday's Raw will be a stacked show. Now, before last week's SmackDown, NXT champion Karrion Kross had a dark match where he faced Dolph Ziggler and clearly impressed the right people. PW Insider reports that ahead of this week's SmackDown, Kross returned to the Blue Brand for another dark match, this time against Slapjack of the former Retribution Group. Kross isn't just appearing at NXT and SmackDown though, as he recently also made his televised main roster debut, defeating Shelton Benjamin on Main Event. Despite being the reigning NXT champion, Kross, alongside Scarlett, are being considered imminent main roster call-ups, and we'll have to see who from the Gold Brand makes the main roster jump permanently in the upcoming 2021 WWE Draft. Kross wasn't the only big name from NXT at last night's SmackDown, as Fightful Select reports that both Scarlett and Shotzi Blackheart made their way to the Thunderdome too. According to reports, Shotzi and Scarlett wrestled each other, though there's no word on who won that match or who won between Kross and Slapjack. Scarlett is an interesting name to call up, as though she's been a focus in NXT thanks to her relationship with Kross, she hasn't wrestled for quite some time, with her only WWE match being a Raw 2016 squash loss to Nia Jax years before she even signed with the company. Whilst Scarlett didn't appear alongside Kross when he made his televised main roster debut on Main Event, fans are hopeful that they'll still be together when Kross gets his official main roster call-up, and time will tell whether the real-life couple are able to keep working together when the NXT champion is called up, presumably as part of the draft. More from SmackDown, as this week's show also saw Liv Morgan in action, and whilst she's without her good friend Ruby Riott, the young superstar is enjoying a major push. On last night's show, Morgan picked up her second straight victory over Carmella, this time earning herself in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. At 27 years old, Morgan has years ahead of her in WWE and has proven that she can work as a singles star after years of being in a team, making her a dark horse favorite to win this year's Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. As a 16-time WWE World Champion and a leading man in Hollywood, John Cena is one of the biggest names in wrestling, and now someone else has that name. That's the case for the former Lewis Oldfield, a 23-year-old man from Bradford who has legally changed his name to match the WWE superstar. Speaking to the Irish Sun, the new Cena explained that, unsurprisingly, alcohol was involved, and after some drinking and play fighting with his friends, he was dared to change his name and paid £40, approximately $56, to make the change. Oldfield even paid an extra £75 to get a passport confirming his brand new name, and in the interview said he's never backed down for a dare and isn't even a wrestling fan. At this time, Cena, the first John Cena that is, hasn't commented on the story, but after years of his "you can't see me" catchphrase, the fans now have twice as many John Cenas as before. We've got Booker T news next, as the two-time WWE Hall of Famer has been in a lawsuit with Activision for over 2 years. In his 2019 lawsuit, Booker claimed that the look of the Call of Duty Black Ops 4 character David Prophet Williams was based on his G.I. Bro character, which he used in the early 90s and later in WCW. Booker added that he owns the copyright on the G.I. Bro character, claiming that Activision infringed on the copyright by not consulting him on the game that generated over $1 billion. Unfortunately for Booker, the jurors didn't agree with his argument, and Activision has won this lawsuit. In their defense, Activision argued that Booker had exaggerated the similarities between G.I. Bro and their character, insisting that the two were merely black military men with dreadlocks holding weapons, and they'd not based David Williams on Booker T. Booker hasn't commented publicly on his lawsuit defeat, as he is no doubt unhappy on this verdict after 2 years of pleading his case. AEW news next is last December, Sting shocked the world by joining Tony Khan's promotion and has been heavily featured since then, working with Darby Allin. Since then, Sting has had 2 matches, one cinematic and one in the ring at Revolution 2021 and Double or Nothing, and has wowed fans with his performance at 60 years old. While speaking to Barstool Wrestling this week, Tony Khan had nothing but praise for the Stinger, saying, "To be honest, I don't know how you could screw it up with Sting. Having worked with Sting now for like 7 months, this is the easiest, greatest man I've ever known, and he wanted to work and he wasn't looking for $20 bajillion either." Though Khan didn't name WWE directly, this is clearly a dig at the competition, as the only company the icon didn't succeed in is Vince McMahon's promotion, after success in WCW, TNA, and now AEW. Clearly, Khan enjoys working with Sting, and Sting is happy to be wrestling after his 2016 WWE retirement, and we expect the icon to end his truly iconic career in the All Elite company. And we're ending today with SmackDown's Montez Ford, who reportedly underwent surgery this week. On Twitter, the Street Profits shared a photo from a hospital room, and this comes after WWE did an injury angle on the June 11th SmackDown where Otis attacked Ford. It was reported that Ford had suffered a partial rib fracture and torn intercostal cartilage, and his wife Bianca Belair later told The Bump that he was recovering at home with a broken rib. The Wrestling Observer newsletter reports that Ford underwent a voluntary surgery this week, which wasn't related to any kind of injury, and won't keep him out for a significant length of time. We'll just have to see how long it'll be before Ford is back, but until then, Angelo Dawkins will have to go it alone. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.